Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.
Good evening and welcome to Leadership Live at 8:05 Talking Small Business. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited to be here. Starting off the new year in a great way. So today we've got a special guest, Jimmy Newson. He's one of our regulars because he always has great information and knowledge to share. And he's really going to kick things off here in 2023. And talking about key strategies for business success in 2023. And, these things are, we've got a big year ahead of us. My goal is to make 2023 my best year ever. And I hope that's your goal as well. And, some of the things we'll be talking about today could be helpful in doing that. Plus, we have some great other things that we're launching this year that we're going to talk a little bit about as we go through today's session. So without any further ado, let me invite Jimmy on. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. How are you, sir?
Excellent. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Thanks. And looking forward to really getting things going. I know you always have valuable information and knowledge to share. And I know you have big plans for the coming year. So look forward to talking about all that stuff.
Yeah, I have like chill bumps and palpitations in the heart and all kind of stuff going on with me right now. It's because there's just so much really cool things. And they're cool things based on they didn't happen just to happen. They happen because of planning. They happen because of being able to direct the path, and which is kind of what we'll talk a little bit about today as well.
Yes, no, definitely. So look forward to chatting with you. Before we get started, why don't you just take a couple minutes, talk a little bit about, not too much on your background because a lot of people probably somewhat familiar with you, but about some of the initiatives that you're working on, because through Moving Forward Small Business, you're doing a lot of great stuff. So take a few minutes of that, and then we'll get into the topic. Sounds good?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad I don't have to go back through my past. I honestly am not a fan of talking about myself. But we do have a lot of incredible things happening this year. And again, it's because of, being strategic about it. For me, I have a theme every year. And so this year is execution and accountability, because this is something that was starting to come up a lot in 2022 as we were working through, putting together some programming, putting together some really great partnerships with some pretty heavy organizations that hopefully in the next month or two are going to come to fruition. And our big thing is, we're working on a number of things, including a possible 10-city tour to really do some work with small businesses across the country. I'm working on a couple of pretty decent sized deals with a few major organizations, which will give us access to thousands of small businesses, not just in the way that we're doing in regards to, say, training, a conversation and training like this, but real actual work with each one of these organizations to be able to help them grow, help them see the future, help them build their future, and we want to be a huge part of that. So partnering with a number of SaaS software tools that can, and then leveraging those tools in the training, but also leveraging those tools in a more of a consulting basis with a lot of these businesses. So it's not just here's some information, go do it. It's about also adding a level of accountability, a level of execution, which is the other side of the coin. There's a statement that I wanted to say. They say execution is the problem, alignment is the underlying reason. So everything that I do, I'm not just the hair club president, I'm also a hair club client. So I practice what I preach. All those around me, I make sure that they practice what they preach in regards to, we're talking about strategy, we're talking about execution, we're talking about accountability, and we have to also make sure that we're living up to what we talk about and what we share with these small businesses. So these are we have three major goals for the year, and we're actually finalizing them. I've been pretty busy over the last few weeks while everyone was away for the holidays, really getting things ready so we can hit the ground running strong for 2023.
Excellent. No, definitely you have a lot of great things in store. And 2022 was a really good year, but it was a year of building and development. And I think for both of us, and so that we can really launch some great things this year. I know you're launching a lot of these things. We're launching our Small Business Pro Network, which is a community for entrepreneurs and business owners. And it's an opportunity for networking, for learning, for accessing resources. So it's a no cost to become a basic member of the community, but then added benefits with additional membership options. So actually, I'm going to make that available. We haven't done the official launch, but I will share information about it. So if you're on with us tonight, you can take a look at it before it's officially launched. I think it's going to be a great resource for you and a lot of other business owners. So let's get into the topic. But before we do that, I'm going to see if we can do a quick 1-minute video, just highlights of this past year, because we did have a great year. So let's see what we can do here. Okay. Welcome back. Okay, so that's just a quick video. I got a new platform that I'm playing with, Animoto. So I'll get better, but at least wanted to try it out and share a little bit of what we did this year. So excellent. So strategies for greater success in 2023. Before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about. Can you share a little bit about some of the trends or some of the things that were happening in 2022 and how you think that's going to change for 2023, just to take a look at the landscape that we're dealing with?
Yeah, absolutely. For 2022, you saw, there's a lot of, I think it's the year of the tool. Let's just say it that way. There's a lot going on in regards to, a lot of uncertainty. And so when there's a lot of uncertainty, you've got the potential recession and whatnot. We have to figure out how can we future proof our business, and this is an opportunity to start to leverage technology, AI, machine learning. Google's making some updates, so they're getting rid of what we call the third party cookie, which means that we have to start relying on things like, hey Karen, hey Tasha, Marcella, Joan, in the chat. We have to start looking at how do we leverage technology to help to support us as small businesses so we can function better. We can be more efficient with our time, with our resources. So I leverage a lot of tools, AI tools, a lot of machine learning based tools on my website, in my research, in my outreach, in my training. And I've done a lot of speaking this year. I've been on 3 continents, 2 or 3 continents this year, talking with business owners, large and small, about what is happening in the business world and in the world in general. So I think leveraging any aspect of technology is key to us getting an upper hand on our competition, giving us a more of a strong competitive advantage, and giving us the tools we need to do things very well. So it's definitely about technology for me. Our 3 pillars for moving forward small businesses: innovation, technology, and strategy. And you can have all 3 of those things now, whether you're a one person business or you manage a team of thousands. We're finding that a lot of and we're hearing that a lot of businesses, especially in 2022 and now moving into 2023, the big thing is alignment, because you can have a strategy, you can be, trying to do things like you can try to do things like digital marketing and HR and finance strategies, but without a true business strategy and then a way to track that strategy and add accountability to that strategy, it's a struggle. And not saying that you can't grow without it, but you can definitely do a lot better when you're being intentional and you're on purpose with what needs to be done, and there's alignment across your entire organization. So the trends are leverage technology, but leverage it with a business, with a strategy in place.
Excellent. Okay. So really, having your strategy, but being aligned. And, I think, one thing you're saying is we have to be more focused with what we're doing, and, and focus more on a niche or a smaller niche than we may have already been focusing on. Is that?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And this is where it really gets interesting, because we're talking about, we're going into 2023 and we're going to do all these new things and we're going to be better and this and that. And to me, nothing's really changed. And what I mean by that is it really doesn't matter what you're doing. You just have to stay focused. When you're not focused, or you're jumping from idea to idea and concept to concept and not giving something enough time, you're doing yourself a disservice, and then it ends up costing you in the end, whether it's financial, whether it's your own capacity. So regardless of the tools, because Joan asked, did I see any common threads regarding business tools when visiting other countries? And the honest answer for me is it doesn't matter. I was in Amsterdam, I was in London, I've been in California, DC, and everyone's struggling with the same issues, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. And this was something that I thought about before I started really traveling a lot for and speaking on business, that I realized that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, as long as you got a strategy in place, it doesn't really matter the tools. The tools are only good as the person that's using the tools. So if you don't have a strategy, then you shouldn't be using a tool, because the tool might not be what you need right now.
Okay. And that's a great point. It always has to go back to your plan and strategy. And, failing to plan is planning to fail. But, it all starts with your target market. Because if you don't have a focused and narrow target market, then that just expands everything else that you're doing and doesn't allow you to focus the way you need to be aligned.
And I'd even go back a step further before the target audience.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have your own foundation in place. And when I say foundation, I'm talking at the very top, the vision. What is the vision of your organization? Okay. And because without the vision, the vision of the business dictates what you can do to achieve that vision. So once you know what that vision is, now you want to think about, well, what's the mission? The mission is, how do I act on that vision? And so it can be done at multiple levels. If it's a small business, the vision has to be for the entire organization. If you happen to work for a bigger organization that has multiple departments, you can still have that main vision at the top for the entire organization, but then you might have separate visions for maybe different departments, marketing, sales, HR, finance, but then that vision still has to go back up to the top vision. And this is where the alignment starts to come in. So you've got your vision, you've got your mission, and then you want to look at, well, what are the 3 focus areas that I want to focus on for the year? And this could be for the year, it could be for multiple years, but then this now dictates from the focus areas, what are the objectives we're going to leverage to get there. And this is where you really start to focus in. And this is one of the things that I had to do last year when I finally got my board up and running. And the funny thing is, I can remember when I had my first board meeting, I laid out this agenda, I laid out some ideas, some concepts, and my board beat me up pretty good, in a good way, because there was a lot of holes in what I was talking about, what I was presenting, what I was trying to do. And this is where you need a team of people that can really be honest with you and tell you sometimes the things you don't want to hear, and it made me do 2 things. One, it made me have to sit back and think about what I was really trying to say and was I not clear enough. But the other thing was, this is where I kind of got a little nervous, because I kind of put out there I wanted to achieve certain goals, and I was only in quarter 2, and I needed to get all the way to quarter 4, the end of quarter 4, and I said I need a better way to stay focused. And this was kind of like that whole pivot for me for 2022, where now 2023 is about execution and alignment. And everything I've done up to that point really helped align me to what's going on here. So this is kind of the focus. So before the target audience, purpose, mission, values, those need to exist, because any and everybody you interact with, from a client to a partner, to a stakeholder, to an employee, to a staff member, they all have to be on the same page with, why are we here in the first place? And then we can talk about the target audience, because that target audience needs to now align as well with that purpose, vision, and mission.
Okay. So, everybody and their brother tells you need a vision, you need a mission, you need values. And a lot of times people just go through the exercises. It doesn't really do anything for them. Mm-hmm. And, but I think going through this process, you've learned a lot more about what that means and how to make it valuable. So if you could talk a little bit about the important key things to vision, and share your vision and why it's your vision.
Yeah.
Same for your mission and same for your values, that would be great.
Absolutely. So for vision, it's and this is, like you said, it can at the beginning, it can sound a little woo-woo. I like to say that, because you're like, oh, vision. But at the end of the day, you have to get clarity around what exactly you're trying to do, who you're trying. And it's not about your products and services. It's about the people that work for you, the people that will buy from you. And when they can rally behind that, you become more than just a product or service. You become a brand. And now that brand stands for something. If you look at like car commercials, a lot of these car commercials, they do a great job, because they don't promote the car. They promote everything that you can be because of the car. When you look at Nike doesn't promote shoes and apparel. They promote who you will be because of the clothes and the apparel, how you're able to achieve the impossible, how you're able to do the unimaginable, how you're able to, for a car commercial, how you're able to, bring date night to life, how you're able to take your family on this magnificent voyage across the country. And this is all about vision. The vision for the people is who they want to be. And so when you can, and the vision is also for you is who you want to be, how you want to be perceived moving forward. A vision is something that we're trying to obtain, where we see ourselves in 5 years, in 10 years. And when we can do that, now we've got a kind of like a North Star that we can go, okay, this is where we're going to go. Now, the other thing about the vision, it can't be 6 sentences long. It's too long. It's got to be something that anybody in your organization can immediately remember and immediately attach themselves to and go, this is something I want to be a part of. And that's what you got to think about when we talk about vision is I want to be a part of that. I'm able to, so I'll share with you, I'm working on deals with the NBA. I have a possible opportunity now with the SBA. I do a lot of work with SCORE. I do a lot of work with a lot of SaaS companies that are international, and they're not working with me because I'm some consultant, and they're working with me because of the vision and the mission that I laid out. Our goal, our big vision is to support the small business ecosystem globally, support them with the actionable tools that they can use to grow. And it goes beyond that, where we're talking about, it's one thing again to tell someone, but it's another thing to give them the tools and show them and help them succeed, because everybody knows what to do. They just sometimes don't know how to do it.
So definitely, knowing is half the battle, but, doesn't matter what your strategy is if you can't implement it successfully. So
absolutely. And I'll even share with you. So I'll share with you a few great examples of a vision statement. Okay. So I'll use Boeing, which is if you don't know, is an airline. And their vision statement is people working together as a global enterprise for the aerospace industry leadership. So they make planes, but did you hear the word plane anywhere in that? No, because they're talking about people working together as a global enterprise. They're connecting the people with a big purpose, a big mission, and they want to be known as the leaders in the aerospace industry. And so, whether you can make clothes for a living, but the bigger picture is making people feel great, no matter if they're at a cocktail party or chilling on the couch with their best friend. Adobe, to move the web forward and give designers and developers the best tools and services in the world, and you may say, I don't want to be that big, but at the end of the day, you want people to want to get behind you. You want people to want to work with you, to want to get involved with you. And, and through that mission is how you end up getting clients for life, how you end up getting customers for life, evangelists, because it's bigger than, oh, I want to sell all my widgets to every consultant I can get in front of. Well, that's self-serving. It's got nothing to do with the people. They're like, so what? So it's everybody else. What is the big picture? What is the big vision? And when you can get clear on that, then people know why they're going to work. They know why they're doing what they're doing. So this is what we have to focus on. So it takes it beyond this whole woo-woo thing and puts real meaning behind why people should want to work with you. And then if you look from there, you've got a vision, and then you want to look at the mission. Well, how are we going to get there? How are we going to live up to this? And that's where you can you can get a little bit more about your products by leveraging certain tools or by leveraging certain things in our business that will support you as you live through this vision, And then from there, the third part of it is the values. And this was something that took me a while to wrap my head around, because, when you hear values, it's always things like integrity and trust and honesty. And at the end of the day, that should be there regardless. What values really are for a business is how does your products and services and your business make people feel? How, this is how you can hire based on, so one of our values is giving small businesses a fighting chance, so that means that we will fight for you to be successful. That's a value. That's not integrity and respect, because that's already given. We want, so now people are going to go, well, I want to work with that company. If they're going to fight for me, absolutely. That's a value.
Okay.
So I'm glad you agree, Karen. So, so all these things. So when you really start to dive deep, and like I said, I could talk about hours. We have a full, we run an accelerator, and we go through each one of these steps, and there are criteria for what makes a good vision statement, what makes a good value, what makes a good mission statement, what makes a good focus that supports the vision, and the mission, because these things together collectively starts to create that one thing that's missing with a lot of businesses out here is alignment. Because if and it's funny, I remember years ago one of my mentors, he was making a comparison. There was a young lady, she worked for a health organization, and they saw patients. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think when you think health organization? Tell me what you think.
Sick people.
Right, but what are they supposed to do? What are you from the businesses side of things? What are they all about? Health and wellness.
Supposedly.
So now you see the person who works for the organization in the front outside smoking a cigarette. So that kind of goes against what the organization stands for. There's nothing wrong with people that smoke, but that's really a great comparison of, are you living up to the values of the organization?
Okay. And actually, I had a doctor's appointment today, annual checkup, so nothing wrong, but actually my doctor smokes, so every time I think about that, I'm like, really?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Like I said, again, nothing wrong. That's just a great example of if you really are living up to your values. So that takes you to a point where, say someone works for you, and if one of your goals is to always fight for the client or fight for the customer, but then customer support doesn't really give the support that the customer or client is looking for, well, you're going against the values of what the organization stands for. So that's part of what you talk about at the beginning with your new client or with the employee or the staff member or the partner, to go, this is a value that we stand behind. And so therefore everyone has to, if this is not the right place for you, if this is not a value you want to follow, then this is not the right place for you. Zappos is all about, if you guys ever been to the Zappos office, I haven't, but one of my board members has, and he talked about going to Zappos, and they squirted him with a water gun and hit him with a balloon and all these other things, and he goes, this is horrible. but one of their core values is have fun. So he goes, I would never want to work there. But the people there do, because that's part of the values, and they get to have fun, and they can do things like that because it's part of the culture.
So yeah, no, definitely. Having a strong culture is key. It should repel the people that you don't want, and it should attract the people that you do want. So it allows them to self-select.
Right. It allows them to self-select. And so on the work side of things, so you got two sides. You got a line in the middle. And on this side is everybody that works for the organization. On this side is everybody that patronizes the organization. The values are for both sides. Sometimes when you have a business, you create values for only one side, and it doesn't apply to the other side. And it needs to apply to both sides. So everybody has a reason to want to be a part of those values. So they go, I really love buying from Zappos because they're such a fun organization, and we see their videos and how they play around and crack jokes with each other and things like that. And that's what you want to do. So you can't talk about we're the friendliest company on the planet and most of your employees walk around grumpy.
Yeah. So no, great examples. I think definitely, both the healthcare and the other companies. Karen's got, working with the business. So, we've hit on, really you start at the beginning with your vision, mission, and values.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you sort of need to develop your target market and focus it. And then after that, I guess you would work on your marketing to your target market, or your messaging to your target market.
Yeah, there's a number of things. So for us, when we're putting together this strategy, we definitely want to define who is our target audience. We want to figure out who fits well with this, because there is an alignment. So when you are talking about your purpose, your vision, your mission, why you exist, and you're relating that to your products and services, it should attract the people that you've determined, or your core type of audience, your personas, your avatars. So a lot of this stuff starts to align. So then as you start to get the big picture, then you might realize there's a better audience you can go after. This starts to become a roadmap to go, where can I find the people that best align with who we are and what we do and how we serve, and so now you can start looking at, as far as targeting, you can start using language in your marketing. You can start using language in your sales. You can start, part of it is talking with past clients and past customers, and asking them, surveying to figure out, well, why did you choose us? Why did you stay with us? What are the things that, who did you choose us over? And you start really collecting a lot of this data, and all this stuff starts to come together in this really nice little package that you're putting together. But I want to stay for a second on the side of creating your structure, because without your structure, you're still not being clear enough to the potential target audience. So for us, strategy is about, we're trying to grow here. So now we need to make sure that we're doing the best things possible to grow. So if we've got our purpose, vision, mission, values, and we got some 3 key focus areas for the year, now we need to leverage the objectives. And those objectives are targeted towards, your client base, your potential client base, your customers, because this is going to become your outreach. What are the projects that we're going to create to support the objectives that support the mission and the values? So we're creating these objectives. So 3 to 5 objectives per focus area. That's why we're only doing 3 focus area, because if you add 3 objectives to each focus area, you now have 9 objectives. And these objectives, to me, should be probably something more quarterly. They're not projects, they're not tasks, they're objectives which have a date to them that says by this certain time period, these things have to be done. And so what you're doing is you're building containers, initial container, and containers under that, and then containers under that. And then in those objectives are what we call projects, or basically your task, the things you're going to do, and then your KPIs, how you're going to measure success. And that's basically the structure. And this is a structure that was created by I'm not sure if they created it, but Cascade is a Cascade structure that we leverage. It's a tool, and we just have to input into those tools those initial elements, and that's how we start to align our team and our partners, our board, whoever is involved with us, our stakeholders. And then we can also leverage that to start to figure out, well, who are we going to target? Who's our ideal target audience based on who we are and what we stand for? So all these things really start to come together, and it really starts to build a really nice, strong strategic, like a strategy. That doesn't mean you can't change it, because the other part of this is we need to be able to manage it. We also need to be able to measure it, and we also need to be able to see how well it's working, and then move it forward. So there's a lot of little steps that we're skipping over, but this is kind of like the big picture of looking at how we can go about this.
Excellent. So, definitely moving forward, and it's really about becoming more focused. As you become more focused, you become more confident, because you really are doing the work to really understand your business and who you're selling to in a deeper way. And so for this year, and really at any point in time, the business best practices are business best practices. So it's really, but in challenging times, it's even more important to really block and tackle and focus on delivering on your business, executing your business best practices effectively. So what are some of the key business best practices that you're focusing on with your organization?
For us, it goes back to the focus. So we know there are certain revenue goals we want to hit this year. That we know that there are certain organizations we want to reach out to, and develop partnerships with. We know, we lead with value, we lead with education, we lead with training. We lead with the things that, and with that, we have to figure out, well, how do we present this in a way that is non-threatening to the partners, is non-threatening to anyone. No one likes to be sold to. Okay. So we're very cautious to make sure that what we're doing is based on people's actual needs, you know, and sometimes it's not always right in front of your face. If you're selling a specific widget, instead of focusing on trying to sell the widget, we focus on the problem. What's the problem that the widget helps solve? And then we double down on resources around that product. We do leverage what we call an inbound marketing strategy. That means we put out a lot of content, and and that content should resonate with a specific audience. And with that, we're able to draw them in, and then they technically, they kind of discover that we might have a service that they need, because we focused on a problem that is a common problem that they share as a collective. Again, bringing back the audience into the picture, and now they find out about us, and now they want to know more about us. They want to understand us. They're looking for that level of transparency. And that's another thing your purpose, vision, and values bring to the table is transparency. If you're not being open about who you are and what your actual intentions are, the younger generation especially is looking to know, I want to buy shoes from an organization that is eco-friendly, that values the earth. They want to buy food from restaurants and food places that source, that gets their food from places that are not unhumane. So these become values about the business that people can go, yeah, I want to buy from them because of the way that they are perceived in their industry, in the community. And again, so like I said, so all this stuff, there's more wins than most people realize by really structuring your organization from a value-driven perspective with a really strong purpose and mission.
Okay. So no, very, very, very important. Another key piece, and I think that's something that you're focusing on now, is relationships and partnerships. Mm-hmm. Because nobody's successful on their own.
No.
And now more than ever, it's important to find the right partners who are aligned with what you're doing, and who you can add value for, and who can add value for you, and figuring out how to do that. So, that's a key thing that we should be looking at. But you've been focused on partnerships. You've been training and helping others with partnerships. Mm-hmm. What does a partnership really mean, and how do you have a successful partnership?
Sure. So let me start by separating. There's two things here. There's partnership and there's relationship, and they're two totally different things. A relationship is someone that you meet, that you think, that you both determine, hey, we can have a conversation together. We might be able to help each other. There might not be any major connections between you as far as maybe revenue or actual projects, but hey, I'll refer some things to you. You refer some things to me. The more I know about you, the more I might be able to share your information with a colleague that I think might have a problem that you might be able to solve. So that's a relationship. So I have a pretty intense structure, and I classify every single individual that I come across. and they usually start with a relationship. As the relationship develops, if I see there's an opportunity for a partnership, they get moved from relationship to partnership status. Now, partnership status is, okay, here's an opportunity for me and you to go halves on something, to go to enter into a agreement, you know, to and that agreement and entering into that is based on what do they stand for. So I want to know what they stand for. Why? Because my brand is, I'm trusting you with my brand, but also they're trusting you with their brand. So you want now it's important to go, well, what do you stand for? What is your business about? What is your organization about? Who are your clients? Who are your customers? How do they feel about you? And when I know these things about them, it makes it easier, and it makes you more comfortable to want to partner with them on things. So I do a lot of uphill swimming. Okay, that means I'm going after big fish. Now, I'm a small business, okay, but I'm having conversations with some very big Fortune 500 and 100 companies, not because, again, who I am, but because of what we stand for, because that's what they care about. Now, so when I'm able to build a partnership, I'm not on their radar. They're on mine. So now it's up to me to figure out, well, how does this partnership play out? So I have to determine, when I do go after a relationship, what do I define as a relation? What do I define as a partnership? They have to have an aligned audience. If my audience is small business owners, entrepreneurs, and business professionals, if they don't focus on those three audiences, there is no opportunity. If you focus just on kids, or you focus on single moms, or dads doing woodworking, there's no opportunity for partnership. We can still have a relationship, but there's no partnership. If they're not looking to grow and support my industry and fight like hell for the same people I fight for, again, there's no opportunity for a partnership. And we have to talk about these things. So the more I'm clear about who I am, the more I can be clear about determining, is this a great partnership? Because some people will come to you with partnership opportunities, and that doesn't mean it's a good opportunity for you if you're not clear on your organization. And if you're not clear, you're going to enter into a partnership that is really not as good for you as you thought it was, but you usually don't find out till 6 months later, a year later, and now you've both wasted a lot of time and energy and resources, and you're kind of back to square one. So partnership can be extremely valuable, especially when both parties understands where you both stand, where you're both trying to go, and how you both are planning to get there, and how you could possibly do that together and save resources, finances, and whatnot for each other. And that's what I bring to these big organizations. I lead with the audience. I don't even talk about myself. I go, here's the audience we serve. Here's how we serve them. I see you serve the same audience. How can we work together to make an even bigger impact? That's where, and from there, a lot of other things start to happen. Like, say you partner with some other incredible organization that has aligning products and services, but you're both on a mission. Now you have a competitive advantage over others in your industry that you compete with, because you have a really great partnership with someone, and you've come together to create something unique, to create a special opportunity that exists because of the partnership.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, definitely partnerships, relationships, both of them are key. And, like you said, not every relationship can be a partnership.
And before you say that, I see Daryl asks, what are major reasons on why relationships don't make effective partnerships? And it's just alignment. But you're just not in alignment with each other. And I'm not saying that they don't make great partnerships, because relationships have to turn into partnerships. But they only turn into partnerships if there's alignment between the two organizations.
Okay. And you can't really have a partnership if you don't have a relationship.
Exactly. So the relationship is always going to be there first. It's just a matter of, does it graduate to the next level?
Okay. And, speaking of relationships, one key way to really develop relationships is building a network and connecting with people. And we have an excellent opportunity to do that coming up this January 26th and 27th. I've been holding the Power Breakfast conference and events where over the many years, we've really helped a lot of business owners grow their revenues, increase profits, and get financing in the millions of dollars. So next one's going to be January 26th and 27th. We're going to have a networking event on the night of the 26th. And I'm excited about our speakers. We've got Melinda Emerson. For those of you who may know her, she's a small biz lady. She's definitely a leader in the area. So excited to have her, as well as I'm going to be talking a little bit about managing your cash flow, because in challenging times, you really have to look at your cash flow even tighter, because there's less room for error. So we're going to talk about some ways that you can manage your cash flow more effectively. So definitely with the Power Breakfast, great opportunity to build your relationships. So in the chat, I've got a link for registering for the 27th and 28th. But let me just show you a quick 1-minute video. I'll put that up, and then we'll come back and join in with Jimmy to talk a little bit more about a few other things that go into making your 2023 a very successful and valuable year for your business. If you are looking to increase revenues, improve profitability, and or obtain financing for your business, you need to check out the Power Breakfast and Small Business Pro conferences.
My name is Andrew Frazier. One of the things we're here to do is supercharge your day.
Today's Power Breakfast has really been a phenomenal experience. I think it's exactly what business owners need, some true guidance of people who are genuine and really are leading them in the true direction of business growth and expansion.
The Power Breakfast is so important for the entrepreneurial community because it gives the various business people who come together an opportunity to interact and also do some business.
These events, hosted by Andrew Frazier, President and COO of Small Business Like a Pro, will supercharge your day.
Okay, welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. I'm here with guest Jimmy Newson, the Impact Influencer. And we're talking about strategies for greater business success in 2023. We've already covered a lot of great things, but one thing that I've seen you develop, and especially over this year, from really being good at certain parts of business to really becoming a full, well-rounded leader in all areas of business. Because, a lot of times, you have to continuously learn and develop areas of business, because your business can only go as far as you've taken it. So what are some things that you've learned, some of the key things that you've learned in this process of really going, you've always had a focus on marketing and digital marketing, but you've really developed your knowledge base, across the board in many different areas of business. What are some of the key things that you've learned that other business owners need to learn about or should know about through the process?
I've learned a lot, and so it's kind of hard. I'm kind of a nerd, so I all I do is eat knowledge. As I should copyright that. I eat knowledge. I'm constantly learning. I think the biggest thing was to look beyond my own resources and start to reach out to others to understand things. I think one of the biggest things I did last year was to build a board of advisors, and I think every business should look at doing something to that effect and having people on the board that have strengths in areas that you do not. And then they can start in a board of advisors. For all you on the on this call or watching the replay, doesn't cost you anything. These are people who have been there and done that, and they just want to see your success. They believe in what you're doing, again, based on probably your vision and your purpose and all this stuff. and they're like, I would love to be a support system for you. And I meet with them quarterly, and I'm able to share ideas about what I'm trying to do and how I would like to get there. And then they're offering me, I mean, such invaluable information. And sometimes I have to go and research to get a better understanding of what they're talking about. I might set a one-on-one call with them to kind of dive deeper. And then it keeps me on the path, because again, it's still always going back to what am I trying to achieve with my focus areas and my overall goals that are aligned, because it's easy to get distracted, so I learned about prioritizing my resources. I only have so much time to give. I only have so much money to spend. I only have so much human resources to tap into. So I have to learn how to get better at that. I had to learn how to manage my calendar, my schedule a lot better. And to the point where I now practice blocking in my calendar, so I can make sure I stay focused on the things that are the most important for me as someone in the organization, and also that everything that I do in the organization supports the bigger picture of where we're trying to go in the future. So prioritizing the resources, investing in the right marketing strategies based on where my audience is. And for me, sometimes it's not about digital marketing. It's about public speaking. It's about speaking at the right events. It's about attending the right events where I make relationships. I pulled myself out of a couple of organizations I was a part of because I realized that my audience is no longer there, or they were never there in the first place. And so that's, as much as I love the organization, I'll support them any way I can, but not with my time. So so all these things, it always comes back to you and the foundation to go, how much time do I have, and what am I going to do with this time, and how does it lead back to the overall goal of this organization? So really focusing on me and my time. And then if I don't have time, now I need to start to go out and delegate and take things off my plate so I can focus on the bigger picture.
Okay. No, that's a great lessons. There's never enough time to really cover anything that we talk about in the depth that we could. But, I think this does share some valuable insights and gives you some directions that people can learn more about business and some things that they can utilize going forward. I know that you also have some different programs, and you're going to be talking more about this strategy for businesses. So why don't you share a little bit about what you're going to be doing there? Because I think that could be beneficial for the listeners as well.
Sure. So next Thursday, I believe it's Thursday, the 10th and the 17th, we're actually, for the new year, we're launching an introduction to business strategy for a strong 2023 start. And it's an hour and a half webinar. You could either take it on the 10th or the 17th. I guess, Andrew, you'll drop the link in there. And it's free. And I'm going to dive deep into a lot of the stuff I talked about today. And I'm even going to leverage a tool. So the last part of the training, I'm going to pull up a tool called Cascade, which we're partnered with. And I'm going to show you how to put the strategy that we're going to talk about in the first half of the event into that calendar. Again, it's called the Introduction to Business Strategy for a Strong Start in 2023. And we're going to I'm going to be talking real fast, Daryl, but it's a replay, but it's really meant to be an introduction, because we actually have an accelerator, and we have a number of programs that we're going to open up at the end of that for anyone to take. There's some that are paid and there's some that are free. Because depending on where you are in your business, you don't need everything. You're going to, you got to figure out where you are, and if you don't have a foundation, then you need to build one. If you do have a foundation, then you can move forward. You might need to tweak it a bit, but you can go ahead and go to some more advanced strategies, or maybe you're ready to just have someone take it off your plate altogether. So that's where I would say start with, because that's going to dive deep into kind of what we're talking about today, but it's really the how, not the what. We now know what. Now we got to figure out how. So I'm going to give you a couple of templates, a couple of blueprints, a couple of ideas, and get you started to look at what I want to make sure that anybody that joins any of these sessions that we're producing, we want you to go in 2024, which is a year from now. I am absolutely in a better place than I was in 2023. And you have to be purposeful for that to happen. You can say all you want, your New Year's resolutions and ideas of what you want to do. But if you don't put any action behind it, you don't put any accountability behind it, you don't put any alignment around it, it's going to be hard to stay focused and actually see that come to fruition by 2024. So as many people as I can get to that next level by 2024, that's one of our missions. That's one of our major focus areas, because if you're successful, we're successful.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so no, I mean, definitely, encourage you to check that out. The more you can learn about this and really get your year off to a good start, the better. As you know, Jimmy is very knowledgeable and puts together some great programs. So you've got the link right there so you can join in and check it out. So we're going to wrap things up here while we're going forward. But, Jimmy, is there anything else you want to leave people with before we close out?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you need what you need. You have to have strategy, because strategy will help you figure out how do I get it and what is the end result because I got it. And it will keep you focused. We have to, we as small business owners have limited resources. So the time that we do have and the resources that we do have, we have to spend them the best way possible. And the only way to do that is to be able to have a strategy that we can track so we can course correct in real time when we're tracking that strategy, so we don't find out later that this was the wrong road that we decided to travel on.
That's a great way to finish off. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to have a plan and a strategy to move forward successfully. Otherwise, you're just going to be out there trying stuff, hoping it works. And, you don't really want to base your livelihood on just trying stuff out there, winging it and hoping that it works.
and then I forget her name, but she's on TV. She goes, "Ain't nobody got time for that."
Yep. So that's excellent. Thanks again, Jimmy, for hanging out. Always appreciate you sharing, and always good to hang out with you. So, usually we have you every quarter or so. So, back in the, in the spring, once it gets warmer, definitely want to have you back. Sounds.
Oh yeah. Us smooth head brothers, we got to stick together now. Come on.
Yeah, definitely. So cool. So thank you very much. I'm gonna close things out. Hang on for a minute. So once again, I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Great questions, great comments. Definitely, looking forward to making this a great year, and excited about what's going on. Not only for me, but my goal is to help make this the best year ever for you as well. And one of the tools that we're launching to be able to do that is really the Small Business Pro Network and the Small Business Pro University community. So definitely you can get a quick taste of it, but really what we're doing is we're creating the ultimate ecosystem for entrepreneurs and business owners. So we're creating a system where you're going to have the opportunity to engage in network, access resources, and then gain useful knowledge from experts. So it's really a key place that it's a one-stop shop, for lack of a better name, for checking, developing your relationships, learning and becoming a better business person, and finding out what types of tools and other things are available for you. So I encourage you to join us. We've got the link in the chat. Let's see where it is. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So, that's the link in the chat. Feel free to join. We have a free membership option. Set up your profile and, get ready for some great things going forward this year. So from there, definitely we're going to continue with the show. As you saw, last year was a great year. We got over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we show the show on YouTube. And if you want to see some of the historical shows, that's a good place to check it out. Also, we, as a podcast, Leadership Live has been very successful. So let me just close out, next week. Looking forward to our guests, our special guest, and we're going to be talking about your product is not your business, but your business is your product. So very important key concept, and looking forward to talking with Sean about it. He's doing some cool stuff, and can't wait to share that with you. So looking forward to that. Hope you have a great first week of the year. Happy New Year. And let's make this a great year all the way around. So take care, and I will see you next week. So as always, at the end of the day, as a business owner, the key thing you need to know is that the more you know, the faster and easier your business is going to grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.